Hey y'all! Today we're going to be digging in, continuing with Genesis, and was thinking about doing 17 and 18 and 19 together, and I kind of want to keep the whole thing with Lot and Sodom and Gomorrah as one day. So today we're just going to dig into 17, which pairs really well with 21, so I'm going to put those together probably up Monday and then link them to each other, because they are the continued stories of the promise of Isaac, whereas 18, 19, and 20 to me scream more of mercy, God's understanding, and how our version of testing God may not be the kind that we think it's supposed to be. But we'll dig in that tomorrow. Let's start with today, chapter 17. When Abram was 99 years old, Yahweh showed up and said to him, I am the strong God. Live entirely before me. Live to the hilt. I'll make a covenant between us, and I'll give you a huge family. Overwhelmed, Abram fell flat on his face. Then God said to him, This is my covenant with you. You'll be a father of many nations. Your name will no longer be Abram, but Abraham, meaning that I'm making you the father of many nations. I'll make you a father of fathers. I'll make nations from you. Kings will issue from you. I'll establish my covenant between me and you. A covenant that includes your descendants, a covenant that goes on and on and on, a covenant that commits me to be your God and the God of your descendants, and I'll give you and your descendants this land where you are now just camping, this whole country of Canaan, to own forever, and I'll be their God. God continued to Abraham, and you will honor my covenant, you and your descendants, generation after generation. This is the covenant that you are to honor, the covenant that pulls in all your descendants. Circumcise every male. Circumcise by cutting off the foreskin of the penis. It will be a sign of the covenant between us. Every male baby will be circumcised when he is 8 days old, generation after generation. This includes houseborn slaves and slaves bought from the outsiders who are not blood kin. Make sure you circumcise both your own children and anyone brought in from the outside. This way my covenant will be cut into your body, a permanent mark of my permanent covenant. An uncircumcised male, one who has not had the foreskin of his penis cut off, will be cut off from his people. He has broken my covenant. God continued speaking to Abraham, and Sarai, your wife. Don't call her Sarai any longer. Call her Sarah. I'll bless her. Yes, I'll give you a son by her. Oh, how I'll bless her. Nations will come from her. Kings of nations will come from her. Abraham fell flat on his face, and then he laughed, thinking, can a 100-year-old man father a son? And can Sarah, at 90 years old, have a baby? Recovering, Abraham said to God, Oh, keep Ishmael alive and well before you. But God said, That's not what I mean. Your wife, Sarah, will have a baby, a son. Name him Isaac. Laughter. I'll establish my covenant with him and his descendants, a covenant that will last forever. And Ishmael? Yes, I heard your prayer for him. I'll also bless him. I'll make sure he has plenty of children, a huge family. He'll father 12 princes. I'll make him a great nation. But I'll establish my covenant with Isaac, whom Sarah will give you about this time next year. God finished speaking with Abraham and left. Then Abraham took his son Ishmael and all his servants, whether houseborn or purchased, every male in his household, and circumcised them, cutting off their foreskins that very day, just as God had told him. Abraham was 99 years old when he was circumcised. His son Ishmael was 13 years old when he was circumcised. Abraham and Ishmael were circumcised on the same day, together with all the servants of his household, those born there and those purchased from the outsiders. All were circumcised with him. And I really enjoy 17. It makes me smirk a little, though, when I think about the whole circumcisers that Paul had to deal with. Because the promise was originally made much earlier than that. It was made back in chapter 12, where God says that, where Yahweh told Abraham, leave your country, your family, and your father's home for the land I will show you. I'll make you a great nation and bless you. I'll make you famous. You'll be a blessing. I'll bless those who bless you. Those who curse you, I'll curse. All the families of the earth will be blessed through you. And so it kind of goes into the idea, at least for me, not just between Paul of circumcisers, that's like, no, that's not the point. It connects into what Ezekiel is talking about and Jeremiah are talking about the heart. I believe it's Jeremiah who says the heart needs to be circumcised, which is, to me, kind of that beauty of writing the covenant on the heart. That it's not just about the mark on the body, it's a mark in us that the relationship has. That the fruit of the relationship is born, whether it is a relationship good or ill. And so I read these not just as talking about the physical mark, also an understanding, as if the physical mark is a reminder for what Abraham's original relationship was, that he trusted and was declared set right by God. That happened not only several chapters before the circumcision event, it happened several years, long before the birth of Ishmael, and long before they even got to Egypt to get Hagar. Assuming she was picked up in Egypt since he was from Ur of the Chaldees. Admittedly, don't know, still learning. It strikes me, though, that before any of that was made, the relationship was had. And in trusting in the relationship, trusting God, the circumcision for males becomes a reflection of the circumcised heart, which is created out of relationship and trust. And because we cannot do that on our own, the law proves it, human history proves it, that we don't have the capacity. And if we did, one would think that depending on the camp you're in, either 5,000 or 50,000 or even 500,000 years of human evolution, we'd be doing better. And we don't. Because as much as we want to defend that we're refined as a society and a species now, we're committing the same horrendous acts we did then. People murder, vicious backstabbery, cutting each other down to ribbons, theft, betrayal. I don't really have to list it when most of us have experienced some form of it. And that's where the Bible talks about we need Jesus. In trusting in Jesus and trusting God, he sets us right. So it is relationship more than anything. So those are my thoughts for Genesis 17, and I sincerely hope that we dig into it because it's a promise made. So he's saying, name your son Isaac, name laughter, because he already knows that there was a laugh. But God keeps his word. It's trusting. Nothing is impossible for the Lord. And we'll dig into that as well into chapter 18 tomorrow. See you guys then.